Good morning, everybody. I had to make another pot and switch to a bigger mug. It's been one of those mornings. But it's a good thing because it's a lot of information coming in. And this is good. I've got some elders' letters and a bunch of stuff. And unfortunately, Mike is working today. And so you're stuck with just me again. I want to ask for everybody's help first. We have heard a rumor that the Philippine Assembly Hall is going to be closing and going up for sale. And they weren't sure where it was going to be. The only assembly hall I could find was in Metro Manila. And so if anybody has an address or a picture, of it up for sale or, information like that, please email me at kimmymbrooks@gmail.com. KIMMYMBROOKS. I'd appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody so much because there's so many emails coming in with all this information. So I appreciate all of your help so much because I couldn't do this on my own and I wouldn't even know, some of this stuff unless you guys were sending it to me. And Mike is hoping to get done early enough with work Sunday morning to where he can get back and we can do a nail and coffin because we have a lot, information and just a little bit of a teaser. You Jehovah's Witnesses and PMOs in Spokane, Washington, you're going to have an announcement this Sunday, which would be August 4th, about 4 of your congregations. It's a doozy. Okay, first elders letter. To all bodies of elders, special meeting during the World Headquarters Representative visit. It looks like Britain is going to be getting a visit from Brother William Turner on Saturday, May 23rd, 2020 at 1 p.m. And I don't know if any of the United States are going to be getting that, but you guys have that to look forward to. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. All right, now we also got the August announcement and reminders. My goodness, I got the U.S. edition, the UK edition, and the German edition. So thank you to our source so much for getting all of this information, to us. And it starts out for the elders only, and then it talks about the memorial and the special talk. And but down here in number 3 towards the bottom of the page, the global assistant arrangement. In harmony with the announcement to the congregation, please arrange for a resolution to be considered by the congregation authorizing the following amount to be sent from congregation funds each month for the 12-month period of September 2019 through August 2020. Per publisher amount noted on jw.org. So they're not even putting it in this letter anymore. But I believe last year's was about $6 or $7 per publisher, if I remember right. So it'd be interesting to find out how much the recommended amount is now. Yeah. Times the number of active publishers divided by 12. If preferred, the entire amount may be sent at one time. If the body of elders thinks that the suggested amount would impose a hardship on the congregation or that the congregation is in a position to contribute more, the resolved amount may be adjusted accordingly. And they even tell them how the resolution should be written. In support of the global assistance arrangement, we, blank congregation, resolve to donate blank to the worldwide work to the 2020 service year. These donations will be made from congregation funds which are contributed in our boxes marked for congregation expenses. Money, money, money. Okay, number 4. I thought this was a bit humorous. General Data Protection Regulation. The letter to all congregations of May 13th, 2019, and I believe we covered that, stated that the date and address only of the householders requesting that no further visits be made to their home should be noted down by the publisher and placed in the territory record. So they screwed up. They actually told everybody, at the same time they're saying not to write down names and addresses of those you meet out in the field ministry. In the letter it said those that don't want to be called on, put their name and address down. The question arose whether in connection with the address also the name of the corresponding person can be noted down. Normally the name does not belong to the address and will not be noted down. However, if it is absolutely necessary to note down the name to uniquely identify a specific person, as in the case described above, in apartment buildings, the name may also be added to the date and address. In a future revision of the addendum to Shepherd the Flock of God, this clarifying note will be added. So they screwed up, and if I was those at the door, I would be a little upset to find out they had put my name and address down when they're not supposed to. Okay, now the page for the congregation that's going to be read to the congregation. The memorial is going to be April 7th, 2020. They're going to have a special talk during the week of March 30th, 2020. The Global Assistant Arrangement. The Global Assistant Arrangement allows the organization to care for incidents at kingdom halls, assembly halls, and branch facilities, including damage resulting from a natural disaster, fire, theft, or vandalism. And I really wish they would add child abuse cases into this and let the rank and file know. But they're not going to do that. Because I would love for all of the rank and file to know where their money is going. A huge part of their money is going. It ain't going to build kingdom halls in India and Africa. Back to the letter. For the next service year, the anticipated costs for these incidents would be covered if each publisher contributed approximately €3. Now I did a comparison and that was about $3.33 US dollars. This does not mean that each publisher is expected to contribute this exact amount. Instead, each congregation may choose to pass a resolution to contribute to the worldwide work, and publishers can then contribute to their local congregation in harmony with their resolution. Circuit Overseer Assistant Arrangement. The branch office will spend in the next 12 months about €7 in the Euro countries and about 11 Swiss francs in Switzerland per publisher for leasing, service, insurance, and fuel. Do away with the circuit overseer visits, and guess what? You don't have to pay anything. Maybe get them cheap little car instead of these great big Lincoln Continentals and town cars and whatever those fancy cars are they drive. Oh yeah, that's right. Someone affiliated with the hierarchy owns the car company. Under the subheading Offering Literature, I'm going to read the last sentence. Please note that the placement of contact cards may be reported on the field service report in the same way that other placements are reported. Now back when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, even the little tracts could not be counted as a placement. It had to be either a brochure or a book or a magazine to even count those placements. Now we know in the past few years placements just went eh. So, they had to start allowing tracts. Well, now they're allowing for the placement of contact cards. Now, for those of you who haven't been a JW for a while, let me explain. A contact card is kind of like a little business card that you can get now, and you can hand these out instead of literature. Now, the ones I've seen before, they actually had jw.org like up here at the top or over here, and I think some publishers, can get what they want. But these are the little business cards they're handing out now. So each one of these little cards that you leave can be counted as a placement. I have found these in businesses. I've gone into a ladies' restroom and it was right on the toilet paper had like a plastic covering. They had several on top of the toilet paper, little shelf thing. So now, they're counting these as placements. So of course it looks like they're having a lot of placements worldwide. I'm sure it's just like the hours, everybody cheating on their hours. Just like I know Watchtower's pencil whipping, the numbers on Jehovah's Witnesses. Then it talks about pioneer service, but you have to be exemplary in the congregation. Imagine that. All right. Now I find it interesting that this elder's letter says Watchtower, not the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Wish they'd make up their mind. Okay, this letter replaces the letter dated April 13, 2017 to all bodies of elders regarding Kingdom Hall information. Now I'm going to skip down, I'm not going to read all of this, I'm going to just skip through some things I've highlighted. Number 2, waste collection. Garbage collection. I did not know this. Kingdom halls, as places of worship, are entitled to have refuse collected by the local authority without charge. So they not only don't have to pay taxes, but they get free garbage pickup? Talk about a snare and a racket. Good Lord. If problems are encountered, contact the local design construction department at the branch office for advice. There's no requirement for Kingdom Halls to have a specific arrangement for the collection of sanitary waste. Number 3, this was another interesting legality. Talk about a snare and a racket for these nonprofit corporations. I wish the governments would take their nonprofit status away from every single one of them. Number 3, registering Kingdom Halls as places of worship and for marriages. Kingdom Halls should be registered as places of worship so that they are exempt from paying business rates. Specific guidance on this subject will be provided by the branch-appointed field representative at the time of a new Kingdom Hall construction project. Yeah, so you don't want to have to pay, the business rates on anything. So, be sure you register that Kingdom Hall. Now, along those lines, before I get back to the letter, I want to share something with you. And I want to thank the person that sent this to me. I appreciate it. This is from the old organization book. This is the 2005 first edition. Page 16. I want to read this to you guys. Second paragraph. It's under the subheading, Identifying the Faithful and Discreet Slave, and we know now that's the governing body. So the second paragraph, what then are the belongings? These are all the spiritual assets on earth that have become Christ's property in connection with his authority as heavenly king. Included are facilities at the headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, along with branch offices, kingdom halls, and assembly halls worldwide. The belongings also embrace the commission to preach this good news of the kingdom throughout the earth and to teach those who respond. The slave serves as God's instrument to gather into association with the congregation a great crowd out of all the nations and tribes and peoples and tongues. Now, didn't they have a Watchtower study not too long ago that these belongings were going to be, the rank and file. But notice, all of these properties belong to the faithful and discreet slave to take care of Christ's property. Okay? What does the new organization book say now? Let's just check it out. Let me go over to page 18, paragraph 5. Read that first sentence. So the faithful steward, this discreet one, is made up of a small group of anointed brothers who are directly involved in preparing and dispensing spiritual food during Christ's presence. So this is under the same heading, identifying the faithful and discreet slave. Okay? Throughout the last days, the anointed brothers who constitute the faithful and discreet slave have served together at headquarters. Today, these anointed brothers make up the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. So that's just to clarify it. Now, this is the 2015 edition of the organization book. So let's go over to paragraph 6, about halfway down, where it says, likewise, the faithful and discreet slave has been charged with the responsibility of managing the household of faith. So the faithful slave also oversees material assets, the preaching activity, assembly and convention programs, the appointment of overseers to serve in various capacities in the organization, and the production of Bible literature, all of which benefit the domestics. So a little bit of a change, and they just say oversees material assets. So that would cover money and property. So just a little bit of change in wording, but I just thought that was interesting that they did not actually list them. In editing this, after listening to this, it's like, wait a tick. I just read the petition that Watchtower filed with the U.S. Supreme Court. Let me take you back, flashback here. Okay, I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. On page 3 of this petition, they're trying to say that because even if the alleged perpetrator was an elder, I'm just going to read what they say on page 3. Moreover, some 5 years prior to the abuse, Watchtower was no longer the national office involved in the affairs of congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses in the United States. As of 2001, the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, CCJW, a corporation plaintiff voluntarily dismissed, was the entity involved in the affairs of congregations. Next paragraph. 7 years after the crime, plaintiff sued Watchtower, CCJW, Mountain View Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, and French Valley Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Watchtower had no contractual, legal, or financial relationships with French Valley Congregation or with Mountain View Congregation. Watchtower's principal activities include providing religious office and residential facilities, primarily in New York, and printing and publishing religious literature. I say, liar, liar, pants on fire. Because I just read in the organization book where you appoint overseers. In your petition to the Supreme Court, you're trying to say that the CCJW is who appoints overseers. And you have no relationship with congregations. Well, right in your own organization book, it says you appoint overseers. And a little bit more than what's in this petition that you're responsible for. Shame on you, Watchtower. You're a bunch of liars. All right, now that we've covered that, let's go back to the letter here. Number 4, first aid. Kingdom halls are not required by law to keep a first aid kit on the premises. You know what though? That would be a really good idea to have a first aid kit, Because what if like a little kid falls down and skins their knee? I know our Kingdom Hall in Cottonwood, Arizona, out the one side door, there was a little narrow sidewalk that was, probably only about that wide, and then it was like straight down slope with a bunch of rocks. Now, when Mike was the ministerial servant in charge of attendance, he told them they needed to get a railing up there, because if there was a fire and everybody was pushing out that door, like if the fire was in the back where the main doors were and everybody was pushing out that door, that kids and older ones would be pushed right down that hall. So eventually they did get a safety railing up. But I mean, a first aid kit is a really good idea. You know, when you're cleaning the Kingdom Hall using those chemicals, what if you get something in your eye and they don't even have an eye wash, station there? So you're not required by law to keep a first aid kit? The last sentence under that particular heading: there is no legal requirement to have an appointed first aider at a Kingdom Hall. The congregation elders may, however, choose to do so. Number 5, safety law. The Health and Safety at Work Act of 1974 does not apply to Kingdom Halls. Volunteers are not paid for any work done on the property, and no legal relationship is intended between volunteers and the trustees of the congregation. However, good safety practices should still be observed, and we view legal requirements as our minimum standard where they are relevant to our operations. Shepherd Book, Chapter 21, paragraphs 27 through 29. Now, I know when we were in Wisconsin, and before I had even, gotten my lung damage, they were using some really strong chemicals. And I know some of us, it was like, we were having problems to begin with that. And even in Arizona, there were some chemicals that I just could not use because they were so strong. And I would actually bring my own chemicals to, when we had to clean the Kingdom Hall. And, the elders are like, no, you have to use it. Well, then I'm not going to clean the Kingdom Hall because those are too strong. Yeah. But I do know that some Jehovah's Witnesses have developed problems from these strong chemicals. So, and then, of course, as a Jehovah's Witness, you're not going to sue the Kingdom Hall if you develop a problem. And, according to this, there's no relationship between volunteers, which means that if you are hurt at the Kingdom Hall while cleaning it, workman's comp will not cover you. Interesting, isn't it? When you get into all these legalities, and as a corporation, you may be a volunteer. So basically, you're SOL. You're on your own. I happen to know in Cottonwood, when they were remodeling, a brother went to the edge of the roof to spit off the roof, and he didn't know they had taken the edging off, and he did a tumble right down onto the ground. He got hurt his ankle. He had to go get medical treatment, and he had thousands and thousands of dollars, worth of medical bills. And, he's not going to sue. And, he always had problems with his ankle after that. So, basically, what it boils down to is anytime you are at the Kingdom Hall doing work as a volunteer, you are not going to be covered. You are on your own. And Watchtower doesn't care. Watchtower doesn't care. Now this is interesting because in the next paragraph, number 7, if local authority or HSE inspectors ask to enter the hall, you may allow them to do so. However, although they may make observations, they should be aware that as there are no employers or employees, they would not normally have enforceable rights under the Health and Safety at Work. Confidential information should not be disclosed. Wow. Oh, this is a good one. Number 8, asbestos. Now we know a lot of older Kingdom Halls, may have an asbestos problem. So Jehovah's Witnesses, PMOs, are you aware of this one? Kingdom Halls built prior to January 2004 should have an asbestos survey on file. If such a survey has not been carried out, please have an asbestos management survey carried out by a local company on a commercial basis. The results of the survey should be kept in the Kingdom Hall maintenance file. Material containing asbestos in a Kingdom Hall is unlikely to pose a threat to attendees as long as it remains undisturbed. If asbestos is identified by a management survey, please send a copy of the report to the LDC. So you could be sitting in a Kingdom Hall that has an asbestos problem. And as long as it's not disturbed, it's okay. Well, what if a mouse up in your attic or something starts chewing on this? Creates a hole. Maybe, has access to your air duct and is blowing it down into the audience? I would be concerned. Number 9, fire safety. Now, we did a video about this several years ago because we knew they were locking the doors of Kingdom Halls. And they had a brother that would have to let you in and out during the meeting. Kyla. She had to have a brother let her out because the door was locked. Well, we did a video about the fire safety issue. And we know that within a month or two, they came out with this new letter and the rules on that fire safety. So back to the letter. This is an important matter and an area in which the law directly applies to our Kingdom Halls. Please follow the guidance please follow the guidance given in the letter dated August 9, 2017 regarding Kingdom Hall fire safety. A supplier arrangement for P50 foam fire extinguishers is available on jw.org. So now you can get your supplies from jw.org. Wow. Now this was interesting about security. Number 10. All openings should be secured before leaving the building. Security blocks and bolts, including wooden blocks that are fitted behind the panic bar, are not recommended and must not be used on fire exit doors when the hall is occupied. However, if due to specific local circumstances the bodies of elders decide that blocks or bolts are necessary to secure the hall when not in use, they must be immediately removed or disengaged by the first person entering the property when the hall is in use. Some Kingdom Halls in higher risk areas have installed electronic security systems. If installed, these systems should be maintained in good working order. Prior to installing a system, the body of elders should contact the local design construction department to determine if it is warranted for their Kingdom Hall. Oy vey. Oy vey. So, thank you for watching, and like I said, keep those emails coming in, and either just, if I need to see it right away, just put urgent, or nail in coffin, Kingdom Halls being sold, anything like that in the subject line, so that when I do a search of all my emails, because right now I got 327, and I am working on March is the emails because I just finished January and February. So thank you so much everybody for your patience and keep them coming. So you all have a great day. Bye.